What's up, guys? This is TJ with Upward Progression, and today we're going to talk about carbohydrates. We're going to talk about what is a carbohydrate. We're also going to talk about the difference between a simple carbohydrate and a complex carbohydrate. So there's two types. So first off, what is a carbohydrate? A carbohydrate is an organic molecule made up of fibers, starches, and sugars. And so it's the main macronutrient that we take in that gives us energy. And so when a carbohydrate is broken down in the body, it's broken down into glucose. So glucose is the basic simple sugar that is in our bodies, in our blood, that helps our brain to function, helps our body to move and get all the things that it needs to do. And so carbohydrates are super important. So the difference between a simple one and a complex one is simple carbohydrates are broken down very quickly because their molecular structure is very simple compared to a complex carbohydrate, which is more complex. And so a simple carbohydrate is digested very quickly, and this leads to often our blood pressure, blood sugar will rise more dramatically than with a complex carbohydrate. And so when we have foods like pizza, for example, I ate plenty of pizza yesterday while I was at work, and sure enough, I had that sort of an energy spike, and then a little later, about an hour later, I was really tired because it's digested so quickly, converted into glucose, gives us energy, and then we're tired because our body's done digesting because it doesn't take as long. And so some examples of foods with simple carbohydrates would be foods like white bread or white rice. These are foods that aren't bad or good, they just have simple carbohydrates. And there's also less nutritional foods with that are high in simple carbohydrates, like, for example, candy or cereal or just your basic sugar. These are just very simple. They go through your body really quickly and they are converted to glucose almost immediately. And so these foods are not necessarily, they're not bad, but it's good to have a balance of these. And so when we're looking at complex carbohydrates are of course more complex. They take longer for the body to digest, which leads us to feeling full more often. See, when we take in simple carbohydrates, it takes longer for the hormone called leptin to be released and let us know that we're full. And so we can eat a lot of foods with a lot of simple carbohydrates more and quickly because our body hasn't told itself it's full yet. And so this is why when we eat a lot of simple carbohydrates, it may lead to overeating, and overeating may lead to weight gain. And so that is why usually as a nutritionist, I would recommend that people do not eat foods with a bunch of simple carbs, at least a lot of them in one sitting or a lot of them in one day. It's okay to have a balance. It's okay to eat some stuff. I can never tell someone not to eat pizza, but I would recommend a balance. And so with complex carbohydrates, they are, of course, digested more slowly. And then this allows the body to release the hormone called leptin, which lets us know that we're full in it. And the whole process goes a little more fluidly when we have complex carbohydrates. So our body's working more and it's using more energy to get energy from the complex carbohydrates. And so foods that have a lot of complex carbohydrates are foods like whole grains, brown rice, vegetables. These foods all have a lot of complex. I did forget to mention that there is nutritional foods such as dairy products and fruits that have a lot of simple carbohydrates as well. So these foods are still digested quickly but have a lot of nutritional value. And same with these foods that are rich in complex carbohydrates with whole grains, vegetables, and whatnot. And so that is also the difference between brown rice and white rice compared to whole grain bread and compared to white bread. It's just the difference in carbohydrates. And so another carbohydrate that I want to speak about is fiber. So fiber is actually really good for our digestive health, and because it's not digestible. At least most of it is not. And so this helps us to absorb other vitamins and other nutrients for our bodies, and this helps our digestive system to work more smoothly. And I think another really important thing to note is the fact that nutrition labels will not tell you the difference between carbohydrates in your foods. It won't tell you if it's complex or simple carbohydrates. And so I really hope this information helps you guys understand carbs a little more and to be able to be a little more educated when we're looking at foods that are high in carbohydrates. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I do hope you support the account and support the things I create, and I always am open to comments of how I could do better. What you guys want to learn, please let me know. There's no other way I'll know unless you guys tell me. So please support it. Let me know what I can do better to progress.